Hey guys, welcome to JazzedTutorials, and today I'll be showing you a Valentine's Day inspired text effect. It's very cool. I think you'll enjoy this. It's a 3D text effect, but it does not involve the Repulse tool or anything 3D in Photoshop CS5 and above, so if you have CS4, 3, or below, you can do this, I swear. So, yes. Alright, as you'll notice, I've opened a background with a very dark red color. I chose this lovely hue right here. 52, 1000. Click OK. And you can use any size you like for your canvas, by the way. Doesn't really matter. I just use the standard 460 by whatever that number is they give you. That one, yeah. Alright, so after that, you're going to grab your type tool, and you want to choose a really round, bolded font. If you don't have any round, bolded fonts in your Photoshop or on your computer at all, go to dafont.com. They have plenty of cool fonts that you can choose from. So I'm just using one I found on their website. I think it's called Instaburger or Insane Burger. That one, yeah. And I've chosen a 100-point font just because I want to show it more. But if you have a smaller canvas, you can use smaller fonts. If you're using a bigger canvas, go ahead, go bigger. Go bigger, go home, right? Alright. So, yeah. Okay. So, as you'll notice, that's the one I've used. See how it's really bold and awesome? Alright. And you have to use a specific color. So, let me show you what that color is. Hold on. Alright, that's the color I've chosen for my font. AAOB09. Click OK. Alright, once you have that, you're going to then need to rasterize your text layer, only because we're adding a bunch of stuff on top of it, and if it's in a text layered style, it won't let you do certain things with it. But if you rasterize it, you can do lots of cool stuff with it. Alright, got it? Cool. Alright, duplicate that layer, and then on your duplicated layer, we're going to add some bevel and emboss settings, just a few. Only thing we're changing up here in the structure is 500 for your depth, and then down here for your shading, 20-degree angle, 30-degree altitude, and that's it. That's all we're changing. Click OK, and you will then have that. Pretty nifty, eh? Alright, now the next part is very fun. What you're going to do, make sure your move tool is selected when doing this next effect, otherwise you will not see it happening and you'll wonder why. So with the move tool selected, hold down your Alt key, and with your up button, go up 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. That's our 3D effect right there. Pretty cool, right? Alright, now we have a whole bunch of layers now, because when we did that, we made a whole bunch of layers. That's when you hold down the Alt key, it makes a bunch of layers. So now selecting all of your lovely copied layers with the bevel and emboss settings you have right now, except for the main layer. So go down here, and making it easy on you, just hold down your shift key and then click on the copy layer. So shift key, click on the copy, and that will then make all of those layers you just made active. And then control or command E and merge that all together. So your bevel and emboss settings you just made are all in one layer, and your main layer is below. Now, with the main layer we had before, drag that to the top. Alright, now as you'll notice, it's very off-centered, so with that, you're going to then go ahead and do the same thing with this one. Hold down, but you're not going to hold down the Alt key this time. This time you're just going to use your up button 10 times. Do not hold down the Alt key because you do not want to have 10 layers, okay? So, just with your move tool, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, coolness, look, it's on top and it looks really awesome. And in the top layer, we're now going to add similar effects to what we just did, only we're going to add one more style. So we're going to start off with the bevel and emboss settings here. My depth is 461, my size is 1, angle is 45 degrees, altitude is 53 degrees, and then down here I just changed my opacity on shadow mode to 20%, and that's that. Now over here we're going to add an inner shadow. I chose blend mode screen, and I chose this lovely red hue right here, 550 C0C, 16% opacity, 35 pixels, 1635 size, blah blah blah. Click OK, and you have that. Pretty cool. So that's basically how we made our text. Now, to really make this text awesome, we're now going to take both of those layers we've just made. So take your layer 1, your second layer and your copied layer, So grab those two together, and we're going to merge those two into one. So both of your text layers now are in one layer. And now with that, double click it, and we're going to add a drop shadow. %, on your opacity, 90-degree angle, and 505 for all those numbers, and voila. Alright, that's your drop shadow, pretty cool. But we still have a lot more to add to this. Okay, now I already have all of these layers already made previously, but I just thought I would show you how to do the main text. Now let's go on to the actual cool regular background. So let me grab my lovely two text layers. There's my love layer. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go and add a lovely red dot in the dead center. Yeah. So, yeah, what I've done is I grabbed a color of this choice here. This is my color choice. And then I took a soft round eraser brush of large size. It just depends on your canvas, though, what size you'll need to use. I think I used 174, something like that. And under my text layer, on a new layer, by the way, if you didn't notice, I just added a red big dot right in the dead center. And then I dropped the opacity down to 50%. And that's the effect I have right there. Pretty cool. The next step is actually pretty fun. So I have some heart brushes on my computer that I'm using. I will link below if you want to use them. It's just a bunch of random heart brushes I found, so I'm using those. But again, if you have other heart brushes you want to use of your own, that's cool too. In the next step, you could also use the heart shapes in the shape layers, but that would be a lot of work to do that way. But hey, if you want to do it, go for it. So to make life a lot easier than just taking and going dot 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 all the way around, go over here to your brush thing here. Yeah, I use this one here, 164 for this part, and I just used the spacings. I went to like 200 or something like that, whatever worked for me. 261. Scattering, just add the scattering, both accesses, at whatever you want to use. And then with a red brush of any choice, doesn't really matter what color red you use, as long as the red's a bit brighter than everything else. And you can also alter the size of your brush as well. Even though it says 163, you can always go down. So I went down to like something really small and just brush on random brushes. Yeah, that's what I did, and that's what I have right there. So pretty nifty. I dropped the opacity on that layer to 49% only because I used a very bright red brush, but if you are going to use a darker red brush, you will not need to do that step. But again, if you like, that's what you can do. So just put it right around there. And then next, we're going to add some other, I duplicated my layer. And I put the top copy onto 40% opacity, but again, that's only because I used a really bright red brush. So yeah, if you use a dark red brush, you won't need to do that step, but it just brings out, the hearts more, in my opinion. So yay. And on my next layer, new layer by the way, these are all new layers by the way guys, if you didn't notice. I hope that you could notice that, because if you didn't, I'm sorry. But yes, new layer, layer 3 now. And on this layer, I added some more heart brushes. These are just various ones. I utilize the entire like package deal of these brushes, by the way, guys, because they come with there's like a bunch of them that I found. So I just took a bunch of them, and this one here, I grabbed a similar color red brush, and I brushed on randomly, scattering again. I used the scatter material thing over here, just whatever, and I've dropped the opacity on that layer to 40% as well because I used a very bright brush again. And yeah. So then on my next layer, I took the similar effect we just used, but this time I just used a regular circle brush, a hard circle brush that we have up here, of small and large size, and I just put it on the side so it looks like it's scattering around and stuff. And I use various opacities on that one so that way it would look pretty cool and stuff. But again, you don't have to do that if you don't want to, but that part is optional, but that's pretty cool. Alright, and then finally on my 5th layer, what you'll notice here is I took a very cool floral brush that I have in my Photoshop, and this part here is optional, but it will make it look pretty cool. So if you go on google.com and type in floral brushes, you can find some cool floral brushes that you like and do this next part to it if you like. If you don't want to, that's cool, but again, it brings it out and makes it look pretty nifty. So I'm only doing it on two, I'm only doing it on the E and the L, but I took random brushes and I warped them to, fit the style of the text. So there's that one, and then there's that one there on the side. So that's what I did with that one. Looks pretty cool, right? Yeah. And then on my next layer, what I did is I grabbed another floral brush and put it there. And again, that's optional. You don't have to do everything I'm doing if you don't want to. But again, it just makes it look pretty nice. Okay, now on my next final layer, this is one I think you should probably do. I would say optional, but I think it really makes the photo really nice. So grab another, this time you're using a soft round brush, guys, only because we're doing something really nifty. You're going to want to grab a red brush. I would use a very light red, almost white, but not really a white brush. Just a very light red. And on this layer, we're making like little stars. So just go ahead and scatter those again. I like to use a scatter tool. It just makes things easier when you're doing like, stars and stuff. So with the light red brush, scatter them around where you like them. And then double click the layer and add a white outer glow. Yeah, and you can leave all the settings there. Just make it, whatever. Just change the color to white, and you'll get like a starry type effect. And you can use a smaller brush if you like. I used a 4-point brush for this because I thought that would look cool. But if you want to use a 3-point brush, you could too. 3 or 4 looks pretty cool. But I wouldn't go anything over a 4 because that would make it look really weird. So anything 3 or 4 is good. And this next step is something that I think makes this photo really awesome. And I'll show you what that is. As you notice, I have lines. Now, we've done this in a previous tutorial. We made lines like this similar. And I'll show you how to make them just quickly. All I did was I took this elliptical rectangle tool. I made like a really long rectangle like that. And then I took a soft round brush, a really big soft round brush. Like I think it was, yeah, it was like 119 or something like that. Maybe even bigger actually. And with white selected in my color swatch, which it's not right now, but it will be momentarily. With white selected, I just put my brush right there at the edge and I made a dot. And that then makes it like a line. And then I get rid of the marquee and I have that lovely thing. And then I go to Command T and I transform it. I'm going to make it very thin indeed. And transform it and go like this. Okay, and I did that, and then I duplicated that layer twice to make 3 of them. Alright, so you can get rid of that because I don't need to do that. Alright, and then on that layer, I made that layer, by the way, if you didn't notice, way below everything else. It's above our big dot, but below all of our brushes. And I made 3 copies of that, as you see, and I warped them, and then I used an eraser brush to erase the edges so that it would blend in more, and then I put that layer to overlay because I wanted to blend in with the rest of the background, and I dropped an opacity down to 75%, and yeah. And then finally, just to give it more color, I duplicated our big dot layer, and I put that way up top with an opacity of 50%, set to color dodge, and voila! You now have your lovely Valentine's Day text effect, and it looks pretty cool. So I hope you liked this video. I hope it wasn't too long for you. If it was, I'm sorry. If you stuck it out and love it, that's cool. So thank you all for watching, and again, we are almost at 11,000 subscribers. I am so happy about that. You don't understand how happy. That's awesome. Team Awesome is very awesome indeed. I love all of your support. I will continue to produce awesome videos for you, or at least try to anyway, because I don't know what everyone's, awesome level is. Like, somebody might think that's awesome when someone may not. So again, I'll try and weigh it out and see what happens. So, yay! Thank you, Team Awesome! Alright, I'll see you next week, guys. Bye!